critical, but if you get off message, if we have to set the pace, we have to set the tone, we have to set the priorities. We can't deviate. Those are our big three, and that's not going to change. Constitutional concerns, we're going to work on healthcare, we're going to work on agriculture, and we're going to work on public education. Again, there's others after that. How? Okay, now we get to the how. Okay, that's great, Eric, but what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And this, again, hopefully this is something you can latch onto, something you can remember, and something you can identify with. Hopefully this helps answer some of the how questions. Number one is restore. Okay? We have to restore a lot of stuff. Yes. There's been a lot of demolition happening over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, right? There's been a lot of things being torn down. Literally. They've literally tore some stuff down, right? So we have to restore. So what we're going to restore is we're going to restore congressional oversight.
Yes.
Right? We're going to restore checks and balances. And here's another good idea, or at least I think it's idea. How about we restore CD7's representation on the Agricultural Committee? Right? That's day one type stuff. That's the things that we're going to walk in day one and say to the leadership, I want to be on the Agricultural Committee. That's what we're asking for. Mm-hmm. We need representation on that because it's such a big impact. So restore is number one. Reform, restore, reform. Reform is number two. Now I've gotten some pushback on that. Like, oh man, you just sound like everybody else. So okay, if we need a little bit of a mini revolution in there, let's use that. Mm-hmm. But we need to reform. Our healthcare system is broke. It is absolutely broke. And the hard part about reform is it takes time. Right? You can't just walk in day one and fix the healthcare system, right? But I want you to know that as part of that reform, that's what we're going to do. The other and then the third, so restore, reform, and then the third is repeal. There's things that have been put on the books, that are things that are on the books that we don't need those anymore. So that's, again, the restore, reform, repeal can be applied to each of those categories. There's going to be things in healthcare that we need to restore. There's going to be things in agriculture that we... SNAP. Let's talk about SNAP for a second. The SNAP program is a federal program, right? It's administered at the... How many of you work at a county?
I did.
Okay, right? SNAP is administered at the county level, but it's a federal program. The budget that passed, the reconciliation budget that passed this summer, the feds abdicated their responsibility from 50% funding to 25% funding. That needs to be restored. And so again, categorically, healthcare, my wife's a special educator. We need to restore funding for special education, right? So again, it gets a little messy because now 3 things turned into 27, right? But that's our approach. What can we do day one? And that's what we've been trying to do is identify that. I'll close and then I'll open it up to some questions. You guys have been so patient and so graceful, and you have to know that deep down in my heart, I'm humbled. Like the fact that these folks have sacrificed what they've sacrificed and signed up, and the fact that you're here, the fact that we're doing this together, it's incredibly humbling. About 3-4 months into this, it was getting heavy on my shoulders. And I called my pastor. And I was like, I don't know, man. This is getting pretty heavy.
It's not Andy.
It wasn't Andy. It wasn't Andy. And my pastor said, I have a really smart pastor, by the way. And just so you know, before I ran, I called him and I said, would you be the spiritual counselor for a congressional candidate? He said, sure. I'm like, all right, let's go. So he agreed to this. I get to call him. But I said, man, it's getting heavy. And he said, Eric, you're getting a bigger tent. Your tent is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what you're worried about right now is that tent falling on people. You're worried about letting them down. And I'm still worried about that, don't get me wrong. Like the last thing I want to do is let anybody down. But I've gotten comfortable with the size of the tent. And that energy that is inside the tent is what keeps filling it, right? It's momentum. It's a big snowball. It's rolling down the hill, and every time it takes a turn, it gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And I'm finally cool with that. I can handle that. Everything that's been put on the shoulders, we're good. Everything that happened a month ago or 2 weeks ago, I'm good. That's behind us, that's in the rearview mirror. We have put on, I just crossed 16,000 miles put on the car. This is the 107th event that we've done. We've been to all 38 counties, but that's like 2 or 3 times, right? So we've done 107 of these things. And we're not stopping, we're not slowing down. Whatever's in my rearview mirror, I'm not looking back. We're not gonna turn around. We're not gonna pull over and wait. We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep going forward. So the last thing I would ask, and Alyssa did a really good job of putting it in these words. I believe this campaign, everybody involved, I believe we are the change you seek.
Yes.
We are not an established, we're not part of the establishment. We are the change. So what we're asking is invest in that change. Now it could be dollar amounts, as it's mentioned, it could be work, right? Work feels pretty good, right? It helps with the frustration. February, if you have a day job, how many of you have gone to precinct caucuses before? That's pretty good. I'm gonna need you to go to precinct caucuses again.
Have to.
Have to.
Have to.
We can win this. I've told the team, we need to dominate February 3rd. We could end this on February 3rd. We could lock up the DFL endorsement on February 3rd. If I do a good enough job of motivating folks and activating them and getting them out on February 3rd. And if I haven't convinced you yet, I got 2 months to do it, right? And if you can't go to caucuses, again, we do. How many of you get a weekly email from our current rep?
Oh,
Current rep. We have a weekly email, and it won't make you angry. It'll make you feel good. Every Sunday night, I sit down and I try to recap the week, and I try to give a little bit of rah-rah hope. Right? If you want a little rah-rah hope on Mondays to combat the frustration, just let somebody know. I want to sign up for the week. I need that weekly email. It's the good juice that keeps the thing going. So again, the last thing I'll say, and then I'll open it up to questions. This campaign has had an earned, not given mentality from day one. We have not asked, we have not expected, right? We felt like we have to earn every single dime we get, every single action you take, every single connection we make. We've tried to earn that. And so as you're making your choices over the next 8 weeks, I want you to think about who's earned it and who's asking for it. So, my name is Erik Osberg. I'm running for Congress because I believe we can do better. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to open it up for questions right here. We have Mr. Wayne from Candy, Ohio coming first.
Erik, I've never, whoa.